Yo, what's up guys? AFC Adinho here and welcome to a new video. Today we are on Pokemon Showdown and I have to show you guys something special. Because it's actually the first time, guys. It's the first time that I actually hit top 10 on Pokemon Showdown OU. In the previous generations, in Gen 7 was the time I peaked rank 15 in Gen 7 OU. Earlier a few days ago I posted a screenshot of me hitting rank 13, I believe. 13 or 14, 13, I believe. So actually exceeding that rank. And yeah, we actually hit rank 9 today. And I kind of want to take you guys on a journey, how I did it. And hopefully you guys learn something from it as well. It's still early Gen 9 though. So the meta is still not defined. It's still not certain what's going to happen with Terastallizing. Actually, hold up. My account did get confirmed. I don't have the post. I don't have the post open, I believe. I don't know when the voting will start, to be honest, but I was confirmed. Don't know on which. I should be somewhere. Oh, here. I'm here. So our account is confirmed, so we are eligible to vote on what's going to happen with terrestrializing. See, I already showed you guys the options, but yeah, I will most likely vote for reveal their type at team preview because I kind of I do like it defensively as well. I just the only step types allowed that's a bit too much, man. Like I was complaining a lot about Chi when I was changing up my team because first I was lettering with an I was lettering to 1700 something with a with someone else's team. Then I was noticing patterns and I created my own team. And yeah, today I'm going to reveal my own team, guys. So we're opening up the team builder. Ta-da, this is the team. And yeah, GU is gonna be on it. I'm pretty sure this thing is going to be suspected after the suspect of terrestrializing. But yeah, for the time being, just gonna I just used it, and I just combined it with Chien Pao. I honestly think Chien Pao is kind of balanced in the sense that Chien Pao doesn't get look at this. Chien Pao doesn't get access to 130 base power move. Like his strongest move is 85, I believe. With Sacred Sword is 90, but it's not stabbed. You can use Icicle Crash, but Icicle Crash can miss. So in that sense, in terms of base power move, and Chiyu also has a higher special attack than Chien Pao has an Chien Pao's attack stat. So in that sense, I think Chien Pao is more balanced than Chiyu. But yeah, to get back at the team, guys. Um, in the beginning, I've noticed a lot of spike stacking teams. So and they combine it with Gold and Go, so you cannot rapid spin due to his you cannot defog due to his abilities. So this move won't affect it. So defog lowering the evasiveness of a Pokemon doesn't affect him. So therefore, Pokemon cannot defog against Gold and Go. He's a Ghost type, so Pokemon cannot Rapid Spin against him. He's a Steel type, so Mortal Spin, the poison variant of Rapid Spin, doesn't work against him. So in lots of sense, the only thing you can really do is tidy up with Mouse Ult. Literally the only thing. But I've been noticing that a lot. But yeah, we have. That's why I chose to go with Great Tusk, because Great Tusk, due to Golden Go being a Steel type, Earthquake is gonna do a lot. Knockoff is obviously gonna do a lot, so it makes it a bit more difficult for Golden Go to come in and block a potential Rapid Spin. If they do block a Rapid Spin, we are in danger of dying. But if we are full HP, we don't die to make it rain if they are not choice specs. To get back at the team, guys, I have Chien Pao with heavy duty boots, and I run him with an adamant nature. It pretty much outspeeds most of the things. The things it doesn't outspeed, the crucial ones are Dragapult and Jolly. Jolly Roaring Moon. A lot of Roaring Moon are adamant. But yeah, I usually use this guy as a late game Pokemon. In the sense that when a lot of things are weakened, I can bring this guy in. And due to the heavy boots, we don't care too much about Stealth Rock and such. And we have the priority Sucker Punch, so combining it with an Adamant Nature, it's really good at stopping things late game. And yeah, his ability makes it also really difficult to switch in. And worst case scenario, if we do need a choice band on it, we can just Terastallize into a Dark type and click Crunch, and also do a lot of damage. The defense drop combined with his ability is also insane. Sometimes I've KO'd 2-hit KO'd a few Corviknights coming in on this Pokemon. And yeah, with Chi-Yu, and switching into these Pokemon is definitely not an easy task. Chi-Yu especially, I have this one with the Choice Specs. Choice Scarf is good in the sense that it's good against offensive teams, but against defensive teams, they cannot switch into this guy. Like Overheat, I've seen it 2-hit KO Blissies with Terastallizing into fire. And a common checks to this are Ting-Lu, Tire, really good defensive one, but they are getting 2-hit KO'd by Overheat, and a lot of Pokemon are running unaware, so if they switch into Overheat, they actually ignore the stat drop, so you can hit them with this for the second time with the same power, basically. Kind of insane. And Flamethrower just for the 100 accuracy. Dark Pills that resist the fire type attack. I run Psychic because I've seen some crazy things, guys. I've seen some crazy things. Arcanine with Flash Fire and Fairy Terra. I've seen Darkspin with an ability that absorbs fire type attacks, and him being a fairy type. Psychic just 2-hit KOs those Pokemon. Well, I don't, and that way I can just keep the Terra Fire, because if Chi-Yu is a threat to my opponent's team, if they are a defensive team and they cannot switch into this Pokemon, I'm just gonna Terastallize with this guy and click Overheat, and I'm getting my 2-hit KOs. If not 1-hit KOs. And yeah, I feel like if you're going to play balanced or a bit of bulky offense, you do need your way of at least switching in to Chi-Yu or killing Chi-Yu. Switching it to Scarf Chi-Yu is easier, of course, due to him lacking a lot of damage. But this is why I have Toxapex, because yeah, a lot of people don't like Toxapex because it doesn't get knockoff, it doesn't get Scald, but it still has the Regenerator, it still has some amazing defensive stats. And yeah, I can bring it into Chi-Yu. Don't die to anything. I don't even die to Choice Spec Psychic unless they Terastallize. Then yeah, I think we might die. But I've never seen Terra Psychic Chi-Yu. They are going to start running that shit. Then things are really going crazy. But yeah, we just switch it in. We're never getting 2-hit KO'd by Overheat, by any fire type attack. Dark Pills, Specs Dark Pills can 2-hit KO us. But that's why we have Garganacl, because Garganacl has the Terra type Fairy. I actually have Terra type Dark, even though I'm running Black Sludge. Because we see a lot of Goldengos. We see a lot of Goldengos in the meta as well. And a lot of Goldengos use Trick. If I'm leftovers, I don't get anything. But if I'm Black Sludge and I choose to go for Trick on my Toxapex, if they don't run Recover, they are putting themselves on a timer because they are taking damage from Black Sludge. And then I can just decide to lay down Toxic Spikes, go for Surf. I chose to go with Surf as an attack because I didn't, in the beginning, I ran a Toxapex without any attacks, but that Toxapex just got abused really hard. So I decided to go without Recover on this Toxapex. I use Surf. Toxic is just really nice, catching certain switches, like sometimes Pokemon like Great Tusk switch into this Pokemon, Rotom switch into this Pokemon, we can click Toxic on them. Haze, really important in stopping certain setup sweepers. If you're facing Bulk Up Annihilate with Rest, we can haze that one. And yeah, Toxic Spikes, just putting down the pressure on your opponent, especially if they run Great Tusk. If you click Toxic Spikes and your opponent doesn't have Defog or Rapid Spin, and they don't bring Great Tusk on the turn you click Toxic Spikes, their Great Tusk will get poisoned. And because Great Tusk is one of the most common Pokemon you'll encounter. And that brings us to the next thing, because we're using Garganacl here. And I'm using Garganacl. In the beginning, we've seen a lot of Iron Defense, Sulker, Body Press, Recover sets. But this is actually my favorite Garganacl set. Because we just utilize Sulcure and we use Protect, and Protect is really good in a meta where Chi-Yu, for example, is really scary. Because you can stay in against Chi-Yu, click Protect, and if they are choiced, the only threat is choice specs, and that way you can see what they do. And this works against a lot of choice user. Sometimes you see Iron Valiant as well with choice specs. If you protect on them and they for some reason click Thunderbolt, you can get in your Great Tusk and start knocking things off. But yeah, it's a really reliable stealth rocker. Because the pure fairy type, you guys remember Clefable. It's one of the more difficult Pokemon to kill. Well, Garganacl actually has defensive stats, way better defensive stats than Clefable, and it cannot be status due to Purifying Salt, so it doesn't care about getting Toxic or opponents clicking Toxic on him. So in that sense, and it's way bulkier than Clefable. So we Stealth Rock, we protect Salt Cure, putting Pokemon on a timer. There's nothing they can do to stop Salt Cure. And yeah, we have Protect, Recover, so Protect getting leftovers, Recovery as well, Cover. And due to us being a fairy type, we can take on things like Great Tusk, which would otherwise be really annoying. In most cases, guys, in my games, I usually Terastallize Garganacl really early, so I actually have a switch in to those ground type attacks, to those dragon type attacks you sometimes see. And this Pokemon completely shuts down Dragapult as well, because we are not affected by dragon type due to the fairy type, and our ability reduces ghost type attacks. We take half damage from ghost type attacks, and Terastallizing into fairy also means we can take on Annihilate really well, because we suddenly are going to resist Drain Punch, and the Raging Fist will do half damage to us. So we just Purifying Salt and sit there. If they are taunt, they're gonna be on a timer eventually, so basically the tactic would be getting Great Tusk, knocking off their leftovers. If they are the bulk upset, we obviously Salt Cure them and go Toxapex. Toxapex doesn't die to Raging Fist if we don't attack him too much, and then we just click Haze. We just switch in between them with Regenerator and Garganacl, and yeah, that Pokemon doesn't get to do anything. Yeah, and we have Great Tusk ourselves. Obviously, I think it's one of it's the new Landorus of Gen 9. It has a knockoff. It's one of the few Pokemon that actually get knockoff that are really good. It has Rapid Spin, so it reliably gets rid of rocks. Because because all the ghost types that come in don't like coming in on knockoff. Then I have Earthquake. I used to have Body Press on this, but I've noticed a lot of Pokemon like King Gambit Terastallizing into like a flying type. So clicking Ice Spinner on them. When I'm facing a Dragonite, a Body Press could be nice, but they never the most common Terra type you see on Dragonite is a normal type, so they usually don't Terastallize into a normal type due to us being a fighting type. So if we get rid of their multi-skill by knocking them off, they can suddenly die to Ice Spinner. And the EVs on this Great Tusk, the 52 speed EVs allows us to outspeed max speed Guard Jump after Rapid Spin, because we get a speed boost from Rapid Spin. And then we can use Ice Spinner on them before they touch us. So I kind of like that tech, and yeah, the Ice Spinner when King Gambit becomes a flying type, just doing super effective damage. Same goes for Roaring Moon, which sometimes terrestrializes into a flying type as well, using acrobatics with photosynthesis. And lastly, we have Cyclizar. I use it with a Choice Scarf, because our team, if I wanted something that outspeeds Scarf Chi-Yu, I just go with Cyclizar, and it's mostly utility. So in some cases against offensive teams, I might just lead off like for example, if I face a Sun team, for example, I might lead off Cyclizar, because if I lead Torkoal, I Shed Tail turn 1, and I get Chi-Yu behind Substitute, and if the Torkoal isn't running Body Press, if they are using Lava Plume or something, they won't break the sub, and you have Chi-Yu under the sun with Substitute, and we just click a Flamethrower. I've had opponents just forfeiting straight away whenever I did that. And yeah, Cyclizar overall really cool lead. Because you can, if you lead off, you can decide to U-turn or Shettil. Shettil if you want offensive momentum, like getting into you. That's one of the things. You would like we would like to get you in as much as possible, ideally without having Stealth on our side. Because Chien Pao, even though his combined with his ability and his attack stat, he can be a decent wall breaker, but it doesn't have the choice man to really wall break. So I usually in the late game, it's where I shine with Chien Pao when a lot of Pokemon are actually weakened. And yeah, most of the common things you face like Great Tusk, the goal is to get rid of the leftovers and then wear down with Garganacl. Because once the leftovers on Great Tusk are gone, um, Great Tusk won't be able to consistently get rid of our Stealth Rock. And with our Stealth Rock up, we can do a lot of pressure. And ideally, we keep our leftovers on Great Tusk. If something has to get knocked, it's most likely going to be Garganacl. And yeah, just keep Garganacl really healthy. And yeah, Cyclizar you can use as a defensive pivot. And yeah, there's just a lot about this team. The reason I actually keep in mind the Toxapex has Terra type Dark, because sometimes you'll face things like Esparta or yeah, mainly Esparta with stored power and Calm Mind. If we change it to a Dark type, we cannot click stored power on us, and we can use Haste and Toxic. The priority is getting the Toxic on Esparta. But keep in mind, if you change it to a Dark type, we actually take damage from Black Sludge. But you can decide to go for leftovers, but Goldango is way more common, so that's why I decided to go with Black Sludge. So if he decides to trick me, I just get in Toxapex. And yeah, that's basically the idea. And like I said, in most cases, I will Terastallize Garganacl, because Garganacl becomes a really reliable switch into Chien Pao, as we don't get 2-hit KO'd by most Chien Paos are Terra Dark anyway, and with us being a fairy type, we resist the attack. And if they are only Choice Banded Ice Spinner, they don't 2-hit KO us. Icicle Crash doesn't 2-hit KO us. But if they are Terra Ice, it might 2-hit KO. I haven't encountered any Choice Banded Chien Pao with Terra Ice. Something that could be scary though is an opposing Chien Pao Swords Dancing with something like Icicle Crash and us getting flinched. But then you get flinched, there's not much you can do about it. If that happens, then it happens, you know. It's only a 30% chance, it's a 70% chance that he doesn't get it, and us getting off the Salt Cure. But if we are facing Choice Banded Chien Pao, it's really important to get up the rocks. Also against Chiyu as well. And some threats though, something I don't like to face is Heatherine. The way we play against Heatherine though is Terra Fire Overheat still when it KOs it from Phil. Same goes for Esparta. If they set up one Calm Mind, you still KO them with Overheat, especially if you Terra Fire there. But I'm pretty sure even without the Terra Fire, you still KO them, because your choice specs basically negates their boost, and yeah, just a raw Overheat should still be able to kill them, especially because most of the times they are max defense, so they're not invested into special defense. And yeah, guys, I can go over a lot of things like you see Among Us Among Us becomes fodder for Cyclizar. If we actually face an opposing Garganacl as well, Cyclizar gets easy Shetils up. Same goes for Among Us. And against Among Us, we can get up Stealth Rock, Salcure, weaken him. He never 2-hit KOs us. Sludge Bomb doesn't poison us. Annihilate, I explained. Combination of Garganacl, Toxapex, and Great Tusk. And worst case scenario, just kill it with Chiyu whenever you get a free switch. Keep in mind, a lot of Annihilates are Terra Water, so if they haven't Terra yet, keep in mind that clicking the Fire type attack might backfire there. Like Excalibur, we have Chien Pao with Sucker Punch, and Garganacl doesn't die from it. So get off the Salt Cure, get up a few Protect recovers. And if he somehow is able to break past Garganacl, I had it against the screen team. You have Chien Pao with Sucker Punch in the back. Because Dragon Dance is usually not Ice Shard. Breloom, if we Terra Garganacl, in a lot of cases, we are pretty fine. Keep in mind, though, that Bullet Seed might be a bit annoying to face. Definitely not an easy Pokemon to deal with if he's lucky with his Bullet Seed hits. But we're definitely terraing Garganacl there. Cerulege, it depends, because some run Flash Fire to counter the Chi-Yu or as a switch into Chi-Yu. But if you have Stealth Rock up, you can just kill it. You gotta be a bit mindful though of his Bitter Blade, because it heals a lot back. So ideally, you break his potential Sash, and yeah, Great Tusk at full will always kill him. Yeah, you gotta keep in mind the weak armor Sash variant. Charizard is something you'd never see. Chien Pao we explained. Chi-Yu we explained. Toxapex coming in. We Terra Garganacl. Sometimes you don't need to Terra Garganacl though. But yeah, if you Terra Garganacl, you can always go Toxapex if they decide to go for the Dark type attack. We bring in Garganacl and resist Dark Pulse. Clodsire. Great Tusk does a lot of damage. Chien Pao does a lot of damage. Chi-Yu 2-hit KOs Clodsire with Overheat. And really depends on what kind of Clodsire it is. Just don't be careful about switching in Great Tusk, because I've seen a lot of Clodsire just clicking Toxic, even when they're facing Garganacl, just spamming Toxic, hoping they would catch something. Don't really face it on those. Keep Terra Garganacl, click Soul Cure, and if they are a curse set, you just go Toxapex, click Haze. They don't do anything, and Chi-Yu's Dark Pulse is gonna do a lot. So you basically beat them with the combination of these three, and he doesn't even kill Great Tusk. So you can even decide to knock off the Dunzo. Dragapult, we have a Garganacl, Cyclizar with Choice Scarf. We have Dragonclaw on it as well. I chose to go with Dragonclaw over Draco just because I wanted to have a bit of damage on U-turn as well, because that's a move I'm clicking a lot too. Corviknight, we have a Chi-Yu, and he's gonna take a lot of damage from Soul Cure, and whenever possible try to get a knockoff on him with Great Tusk. Once you get a knockoff, Rapid Spin becomes pretty free against it as well, every time they get up hazards. Some do run Brave Bird, but it's not super effective against it's not gonna do too much against us. Cyclizar can be annoying because vice versa, if we have Garganacl and Cyclizar becomes free clicking Shed Tail, so definitely be mindful there. But it really depends on what your opponent has, because in a lot of cases we are able to defend against a lot of the meta. So just be mindful. Dragonite combination of Garganacl and Great Tusk helps us in a lot of cases, because Soul Cure. The Roost variant might be annoying, but keep in mind that Toxapex doesn't die to +1 Earthquake, so we can still use Toxic there. Garchomp is definitely annoying, but we have Chien Pao, which clicks Ice Spinner, and he's gonna die. Same goes for Ice Spinner on Great Tusk. In a lot of cases, we just knock him off. Rapid Spin, his Stealth Rock spikes away, and if we get the Rapid Spin boost, they usually don't expect the Ice Spinner, and you just kill them. Goldengo went over it a lot as well, going Toxapex in most cases. And if we have Cyclizar and they are not scarfed, we can Shed Tail into Chi-Yu and basically get a free turn with Chi-Yu there. And that's what we are aiming for in a lot of cases. Glimmora can be a bit annoying. Whenever I see Glimmora, I usually lead off Cyclizar. And then just U-turn. And break a potential Sash. I'm not gonna die to Dazzling Gleam unless they Terastallize into Fairy, and they have to be Choice Scarf as well. But I U-turn, then their ability activates, and we go straight into Toxapex to remove the Toxic Spikes it lays down, and then we Surf usually. And if they stay in, we click Toxic Spikes, because that will force them to Mortal Spin, and on their mortal spin we go for the second surf and knock them out. That's usually how it goes. Overall, if it's not Scarf, Chien Pao, and Chi Yu, we'll kill it later on as well. Great Tusk went over it a lot using Garganacl, tried to knock him off, tried to get a Toxic off on him. If it's weakened, Chien Pao does a lot of damage. The fire type attack can kill him, but you have to be mindful of it being Assault Vest, because if they are Assault Vest, they can actually live our attack. Well, they don't live overheat with Terra Fire. That's what I'm certain of. But yeah, Grimmsnarl can be really annoying depending on what he has in the back. Grimmsnarl, you usually try to weaken him with either lead Garganacl, click Salt Cure, weaken him, and because if you have Garganacl in, they cannot get a free switch against you. Because if they switch out, something will still take a Salt Cure. And even if they go for Parting Shot and reduce your attack stat, the Salt Cure damage on its own is not the important part. It's the effect. And if you get the effect on one of those sweepers, then it can still be really helpful. So in a lot of cases, I just lead up with Garganacl there. You can also lead up with Cyclizar, because usually they don't want you shed-tailing, so they go for taunt, and if you U-turn, you get basically free damage. They are never leftovers. They are always like clay. Iron Hands. I've seen some scary sword stance sets, but if it doesn't get a speed boost, Chi Yu should be able to do a lot. But this thing is so freaking bulky. So in that sense, in a lot of times, it really depends on what it does. It's one scary amount, but Chi Yu can do a lot of damage. Mainly, I will probably use Garganacl with Salt Cure. Great Tusk, because he's an electric type. But yeah, if they Terastallize into flying, that can be annoying. That's why we have Ice Spinner. We're just trying to weaken it so Chi Yu can knock it out, because it usually doesn't use something like Select Berry. Iron Moth, we have Toxapex with Surf, and we can lay down Toxic Spikes against him. So in that sense. And Chien Pao is faster if Iron Moth isn't using agility or isn't Choice Scarfed. And then Crunch, look at his defense stats, not really high, so Crunch is going to do a lot of damage. Iron Threats, we sometimes we see it, but most Iron Heads, like I've never really seen Heavy Slam. Sometimes I've seen Iron Head, but it's not common. So usually I still Terastallize Garganacl, and my Salt Cure is gonna do extra damage due to him being a Steel type. And yeah, due to him being a Steel type, my Great Tusk is also really good matchup against him. So I'd rather face Iron Threats than Great Tusk. Iron Valiant. In a lot of cases, I pivot in Toxapex, and then because it's really common on Iron Valiant that they have Psy Shock, but if they are specs, it does about 70% Psy Shock. Then you know it's specs. And then the Psy Shock is not going to do anything against Garganacl. If you switch out Toxapex, you get Regenerator back again. So that's usually how we play it. Because if it's specs, we can easily deal. And if Garganacl actually has leftovers, as long as he doesn't crit us, Moonblast doesn't 2-hit KO us. Unless they are going to Terastallize into Fairy, but then we have Toxapex yet again, which doesn't take anything from Moonblast. So I usually don't have too much trouble with Iron Valiant. The Quark Drive set with Photosynthesis, you just have to push it out once, and then your Chien Pao is faster than him. So it's usually easy to push them out. And if you are above 80%, you can just click Toxic on him, and it doesn't matter if they click Psyshock. If you live the attack, once they are poisoned, they are on a timer, then you switch into Garganacl, stall them out with Recover and Protect. King Gambit, like I said, it can be scary. But this is why we keep Great Tusk. And Chien Pao, we have Sacred Sword on him. I actually lived +4 Sucker Punch from Phil with a few of his Pokemon dying as well. So Chien Pao can be a really good check if you keep it at full HP. Low kicks can definitely be scary. Due to his Tinted Lens, because if he U-turns on Great Tusk, Tinted Lens is gonna do extra damage. Same goes for Garganacl. But you just get up Stealth Rock and he's gonna take 25% damage, because they are always usually choice banded with First Impression, Mouse Hold. Well, if Garganacl is actually a Rock type, it doesn't do too much damage. You just Salt Cure. They can tidy up against you though. Meowscarada, I usually terrestrialize Garganacl, and Garganacl was it really well. I have to keep you have to keep in mind Meowscarada is actually faster than Cyclizar with a Choice Scarf, so keep that in mind. But he cannot kill us unless it uses Play Rough on the first turn. So you gotta scout basically. Ortworm, just be mindful of clicking Earthquake on him, but Chio does a lot of damage. Garganacl does a lot of damage with Soul Cure. Surf, some decent damage, I guess. It does really want to Chien Pao though, but Crunch still 3 KOs it, I think. Especially after rocks. Quaquaval, we terrestrialize Garganacl, like I said before. Toxapex does really well into it as well, hazing it. With Soul Cure, it's a water type, so it takes extra damage. Roaring Moon, we keep Great Tusk and Garganacl, and usually we are fine against it. We are fine. Even acrobatics won't do too much, and if they are a flying type with acrobatics, we just Soul Cure super effective, and we can usually stall them out. And Great Tusk, Ice Spinner, it's doing pretty well. His physical defense is also not great, so if he never terrestrializes, Earthquake is also doing a lot of damage. Moon Scizor. Choice Banded Scissor actually doesn't do it KO Garganacl, which is hilarious. Unless they terrestrialize into Steel. But yeah, we Soul Cure them. I usually just stay in against Scizor. Get up rocks, and if they try to defog against me, they take a lot of from Soul Cure. If they Bullet Punch, they take a lot from Soul Cure. If they U-turn, I don't take much damage. Because usually I'm a fairy type against it. Skeledirge, you gotta keep Toxapex healthy, alive, so you can click Toxic on Skeledirge. But usually what I do is use Garganacl, if I'm still a rock type, to Soul Cure, then go Toxapex and abuse Skeledirge with Toxapex, because I can haze, I can Toxic Spikes, I can poison him, be really annoying. Ting-Lu, I usually switch in Great Tusk. In this matchup, it's really important to keep the leftovers on Great Tusk, because if they are the move that does half of my HP every time. With leftovers, I usually recover really well into it. And yeah, once you knock off the leftovers, the Pokemon doesn't have reliable recovery. It doesn't have a recovery move, and aside from rest. So in that sense, once you knock it off, it's much easier to deal with. That's basically the goal. You're always getting Great Tusk, and you just knock it off. Whenever you, I usually don't even Rapid Spin. I just click knock off there. I care more about getting rid of his leftovers than getting rid of the hazards. And in a lot of cases, they have something like a Goldango or a Dragapult, for example, to block Rapid Spin. Because Ting-Lu is usually stacking spikes or stealth rocks. So in that sense, I usually don't bother clicking Rapid Spin and just clicking knock off. Because if they stay in, it's a win for me. If they switch out, I knock off most likely a Ghost type. And the knockoff in general, knocking off can be really helpful. Torkoal is usually on a Sun team with a lot of photosynthesis mods. But yeah, in a lot of cases, I just lead Cyclizar. Because if they don't lead Torkoal, they don't have to Sun up, which is a bit easier to deal with. If they lead Torkoal, it's a free shot till turn 1, getting in Chiyu and destroy something. Toxapex. Toxapex we don't care too much about. Garganacl gets up free Stealth Rock against it, and we just Soul Cure. And in worst case scenario, we switch between those. We can get in Cyclizar, get a free Shatil against Toxapex. The Tyranitar, don't see it too often, but we have Chien Pao with Sacred Sword. We have Great Tusk. It does completely wall Chiyu though. Actually, it does completely wall this set because, yeah, it's either resisted or he's immune to Psychic, but I don't face it a lot. Cyclizar's U-turn doing super effective damage, some nice chip, and Garganacl. Tyranitar doesn't do anything against Garganacl, basically. And yeah, Volcarona, we have a Toxapex. We just clicked Psychic on him. I don't usually see Substitute, but if it is sub-roost, it usually doesn't damage me. Actually, Volcarona doesn't get roost, it gets Morning Sun. But we haze, we surf, we have Toxic. I can lay down Toxic Spikes against the Volcarona in front of him. Usually we are okay as long as we keep Toxapex around. And if Garganacl is actually still a rock type, he can do really well into him too. But you have to be mindful of Giga Drain. But if we hit Volcarona with Salt Cure, it's 4 times super effective as well. And obviously the extra effect. But that's basically the OU meta. I know it's a long video, but I want to show you guys some replays and show you guys how the team is a bit played. Here I have a game against Ludwig Frog, and let's see. I'm gonna turn up the music because it's pretty loud. But yeah, I lead up with Cyclizar because this is a really set up team. If I get in my Chiyu behind the sub, it can be really beneficial. Usually this is like Healing Wish in DD, and just setting with Terrain Extender. So I just Shed Tail here. As he decides to stay in, I get in Chiyu. And he goes for Dash and Gleam, and it doesn't break my sub. And now I just get a free attack on his team. And he decides to go Roaring Moon as I click Flamethrower. And he goes for Skill Shot though, that did surprise me a bit. Luckily though, he only gets 4 hits. And I Flamethrower again. And yeah, I'm forced to switch up. I can get in Great Tusk because he Skill Shots again. And I think I just go for the knockoff here. Because it's pretty free. He goes Espion, knocking this off, eject button, but it won't activate due to knockoff. I'm switching into Cyclizar because I'm not dying to Psychic as he goes for Yawn. So again, because he didn't attack me, I get a free Shed Tail off again. And this is what I mean with this. Now I'm going into Chien Pao because if he's using a Psychic type attack, it won't work against me. He decided to go for Dash and Gleam. But offensively, my Chien Pao won't be choice locked. So here I can just go for the Ice Spinner. I went for Crunch. I could have gone for Ice Spinner as well if I wanted to hit Hawlucha. Yeah, I still have this guy. Wait, did he? Pretty sure. Oh wait, he broke my thing. Okay, no, actually, crunching there was a fine play. So I crunch here, get rid of Espion. Now to bring in something again. And he goes back into Ndidi. We saw Dash and Gleam don't want to take it. As he decides to go for Healing Wish. So he Healing Wishes back the Roaring Moon. And he starts Dragon Dancing up. I know he cannot kill me with Earthquake. I already saw he was Skill Shot. He wasn't Choice Bandit. So I get off my Toxic. And even at +1, my Great Tusk was this pretty well. So he goes for Skill Shot again. And I only need my Great Tusk for this. So if Great Tusk dies, it's fine. Because we already got him poisoned. He's going to be on a timer. He Skill Shots again. Feels like he's loaded dice. But due to the poison, just look at how well we do. I go into Garganacl. I don't Terastallize. The reason I don't Terastallize this is he has that Esparta. So I want to keep the Terastallization on my Toxapex like I mentioned before. So because if I turn into a dark type, Esparta can not use stored power against me. So I decided to not Terastallize. I get off my Salt Cure. He dropped his defense a lot of times. And he's gonna die here. Now Hawlucha comes in. And here actually I decided to Terastallize because I could lose if this guy sets up. I Salt Cure here, putting him on a timer. As he goes for Acrobatics. But it's fine. Because I don't know if this guy gets Roost. I don't think he does get Roost in this game. I just keep Salt Curing and protecting. And yeah, he clicks Acrobatics. I think I recover here again. Oh, I Stealth Rock. Oh yeah. The reason I Stealth Rock is because Poltergeist. I want to break a Sash because it's usually weak armor. So if I break the Sash, I can kill him whenever I have it in front of me. And I decided to Sec. Do you see this turn, guys? So I Stealth Rocked. I could have clicked Protect. He would have died. But I decided to Sec Garganacl here. And the reason I Sec him here is because these Pokemon get set up on my Garganacl. So I just Sec him. not giving a Sparta an opportunity to set up, is I go into Chi-Yu, and whatever Pokemon he goes into, Sparta without a Calm Mind won't be able to kill me unless he Terras into fighting. And a Poltergeist, I'm faster than Poltergeist. And I got the Stealth Rock up, so I just click Dark Pulse here, knock him out, and he won't be able to use Shell Smash against me. And against this as well, he actually Terastallizes into Fairy. I'm just doing way too much damage there. He Calm Minds, and I went straight into Toxapex because there's no way he's clicking Stored Power on my Dark type. And he's only with this amount of boost, so I won't die. And like I said, the priority is to get a Toxic. I actually went for Haze. Okay, that's actually fine because he doesn't kill me with Stored Power. But the priority was to get off a Toxic. So I switch into Chi-Yu. He predicts it really nicely. But all I need to do is kind of stall out this guy. I go Toxapex again. I live. It was completely calculated. I get off the Haze again. I go hard Chien Pao because there's no way he clicks Dazzling Gleam on that turn. As he clicks Stored Power. And I'm just waiting out to... I'm probably switch here again as he clicks Dazzling Gleam. Because the poison eventually is going to do way too much damage. And yeah. That's GG. So that's one of the replays on how I played that team. Do I have other replays? Oh, wait. This is against a high level player as well. He was ranked... At the time, he was ranked 7. Like 2005 rating at the time. But at a certain point, he was ranked 2. It was really close to rank 1. And yeah, I played against him. I led up with Cyclizar again, as he lets Golden go. And I Shed Tail immediately because I'm Choice Scarfed, so I don't care if he's Scarfed. And he attacks me with Make It Rain. I'm not going to show the whole battle though. Yeah, I Dark Pulse here. This is the freest Dark Pulse. And like I said, it 2-hit KOs Toxapex. Garganacl didn't Terastallize into a Fairy type yet, so he's forced to go into his Iron Valiant, which is the only thing that resists this attack. And I take a clean 40%. Go into Toxapex here on the Moonblast, and I go for Toxic Spikes here because he has Goldengo. Yeah, he has Goldengo and he has a Garganacl. So I go back into Cyclizar as he Terastallizes into Fairy now, so he has a Dark type resist. And I could Shed Tail here, but that would make me too low, so I just U-turn. I didn't really need it at the time. I go Garganacl, and I'm just trying to get up Stealth Rock here. I Salt Cure first, in case he switches, and now I can Stealth Rock. So both of us are getting up rocks. Going to Great Tusk. As he Salt Cures again, and like I said, all we're doing with Great Tusk is dishing out a few knockoffs. And this is the game plan I mentioned earlier. We're facing a Great Tusk. He's the only one that gets rid of our Stealth Rock, so our priority, the only recovery he gets is leftovers. So I'm knocking him off, get rid of his leftovers, and now I just want to keep my leftovers. Actually I have Rapid Spin here. I wonder if I decide to kill this, to straight up damage this, but I am damaged by Salt Cure, so I'm switching into Garganacl as he Earthquakes. And here I probably Terastallize, I protect, and then I'll probably Terastallize. I know a knockoff is coming my way, so that's why I protected, just to get the bit of leftovers recovery. Now I Terastallize, and because he doesn't have leftovers here, this Salt Cure damage is permanent, and now I might Stealth Rock again. And yeah, Great Tusk is basically eliminated here. Here I probably Salt Cure again and then recover. And yeah, the next goal is trying to knock off the leftovers from this Garganacl. So I recover here. And I might go into Great Tusk. I might go into Cyclizar. We'll see. He actually goes Garchomp. Do I go into... Or maybe I do go Cyclizar. And I'm pretty sure I'm Shed Tailing here. And now I'm getting Great Tusk. The reason I'm going Great Tusk over Chi Yu is because Great Tusk doesn't have left, so every bit of damage I get on Great Tusk, his Great Tusk is permanent. And like I mentioned before, the only Pokemon that can really take hits for me is Garganacl, but if I knock off his leftovers, it's gonna be super helpful. And if he stays in with Goldengo, he's gonna die. So I'm just clicking Earthquake here. There's no need to predict there. I Earthquake there. I might Rapid Spin here just to get the speed boost. And then I might just go for the 2-hit KO. Because if he knocks me off here, that crit is kind of huge, because that meant he either wasn't able to Rapid Spin or he couldn't get a knockoff. But if he decided to knock me off, my Stealth Rock would stay up, and I wouldn't have to waste a turn clicking Stealth Rock. But that crit was kind of huge, because he couldn't either Rapid Spin or he couldn't either knock off. So in that sense, it was kind of huge. I was fine with him Rapid Spinning, but a knockoff would have been annoying, because I would have not been able to get off leftovers recovery. But I got rid of his, and even though I have Ice Spinner, I didn't reveal it against Great Tusk, and this is the reason. Due to the Rapid Spin, like I mentioned earlier, my Great Tusk is now faster than Garchomp. So what I'll do here, I'm knocking him off. I'm not sure what kind of Garchomp it is, because Garganacl already showed Stealth Rock. So this might not be Stealth Rock, so this might be an offensive Garchomp. So I knock him off first, and I knocked off Life Orb as he drops a Draco on me, and due to my knockoff, I actually lived the attack. And now I'm getting a bit of leftovers recovery. And he thinks, okay, I'm safe there. Now I go for the Ice Spinner. And that's enough to knock him out because it's an offensive Garchomp. So, and now Great Tusk basically picking up 2 kills. I am a +1, but Goldengo most likely Choice Scarf. So I'm probably bringing in my Toxapex. And I go back into Cyclizar as he clicks Salt Cure. And all I'm trying is getting a bit of recovery on Cyclizar. It doesn't really work out. So I try to switch between those two. Because I didn't want to stay in with Great Tusk yet. I'm Toxic Spiking here because I have leftovers plus Regenerator. So I'm switching into Cyclizar again. And I'm basically waiting for him for a turn in which I get free recovery on his Stealth Rock, which he does now. And now I'm surfing once just to get a bit of chip on him. And now I'm probably going into my Garganacl. So I can click Salt Cure on him so he cannot really stay in against me and spam Salt Cure against me. Yeah, the next goal really is to I recover on his Protect. So that's huge. And now just click Salt Cure so whether he stays in. He actually tried to Protect again. I crit him there. He goes Toxapex, and I think I double Salt Cure there. Oh, I actually went Cyclizar. I was looking for opportunities though. Going into Toxapex, do the same riddle, and now my Cyclizar actually got a bit of HP. I might click Toxic Spikes there. Yeah, and he goes Goldengo, and yeah, the only reason is him tricking. And this is why I have Black Sludge, because look at this. So I click Surf on him. Takes damage. And I decided to go Cyclizar. Even if he tricks me here, that's fine. I'm still getting the Shed Tail into my Chi Yu. But he clicks Recover. So it's not a nice split set. And now I get off my Shed Tail. And I get in my Chi Yu. I do take Rocks damage. But this is what we've been looking for throughout the game. And yeah, I just get to click Dark Pulse for free. We damaged the Garganacl earlier. He comes in on Stealth Rock, so it's getting 2-hit KO'd. And he decides to go back into Iron Valiant, and yeah, Iron Valiant doesn't have any recovery in this kit, so I just go back into Toxapex as he reveals Thunderbolt, and that's definitely Choice Specs. So this is where I get my free switch into Great Tusk. And due to the leftovers recovery, I'm outside of range of dying to Salt Cure, so I decide to knock him off there. As he clicks Salt Cure. And yeah, I'm still outside of range of Stealth Rock. So I'm actually swapping into Garganacl, and now that he doesn't have leftovers, this is really easy. This is a really easy win. Because I just Salt Cure, and then I can switch between my Regenerator Mons and Garganacl by stalling out his recovers. I will recover here though. And we're just going back into Toxapex. We know we know it's recover trick, make it rain and shadow ball, so he doesn't have nasty spot, so it's not really scary. So I can just go Toxapex. He clicks make it rain on me, which drops his special attack. So I get to click Surf. I go to Cyclizar. If he tricks me, that's fine. And now I U-turn. As he goes Garganacl. And yeah, all we're doing is gaining momentum now. This thing doesn't have leftovers. I get in Chiyu. And do you remember the damage I got on Toxapex, guys? Garganacl's not a fairy type anymore. I getting a kill with a fire type attack here. And it doesn't matter if he clicks protect. I'm just clicking over it. And this is guaranteeing me a kill. He goes Toxapex. Just look at how much we're doing here. And he's still gonna get 2-hit KO'd, so he decides to sack Iron Valiant. And I keep Toxapex low as well. So Iron Valiant is gone. I'm actually showing you guys the whole battle. But yeah, we're going back into Garganacl, and basically he goes into his Garganacl, and now I just Sulkure spam. He doesn't have leftovers recovery. I Sulkure, and I think I just double Sulkure as he goes Goldango, and yeah, this is checkmate. Because he's taking Sulkure plus Black Sludge, and I go straight into Cyclizar. And he decided to go for Recover. Had he gone for Trick, he would still take Sulkure damage, and I still would be able to click U-turn or Dragon Claw. But he decided to go for Recover, and I get off my shit. I can get off my... He decides to forfeit there, but you're gonna be lost in 2 weeks. I responded, thanks for the point. Thank you for the points. But yeah, there I would just shed tail and basically get in my GU again, because he didn't heal Toxapex really, and basically get another kill by clicking Flamethrower this time. And yeah, basically there, I didn't lose any Pokemon there in this game, but this is a really good representation of how I play the team. And I didn't even get to play Chien Pao in this game, but yeah, Chien Pao, just the Sucker Punch. I mainly have it for the Sucker Punch and for the Ice type offensive pressure on my opponent, and obviously the coverage it gives, because I like to be able to switch up moves with this Chien Pao. It's just a really good offensive check. And yeah, we've been, how long have we been recording? 52 minutes. A really long video, guys, but I hope this was really helpful. This is the team, guys. This is the team. I want to try it out, I'll leave a Pokepaste in the description. Let me know in the comments down below how it went for you. I'm not sure how long this team will be fed up, because after the Terastallization suspect test, I think Chiyu is next. And yeah, I think this Pokemon has to go. Like, when I was playing the other team, I continuously said this guy is busted, and then I used it myself, and yeah, it just confirms it more. This Pokemon is busted. So guys, like, comment, and subscribe. I'm definitely doing more Pokemon Showdown content. I will be more active on Pokemon Scarlet and Violet as well in the Wi-Fi battles. So definitely check out the channel, guys, and help me create a viewer base for this kind of environment, Showdown and Scarlet as well, Scarlet and Violet. You guys have been a great audience. Thank you for everyone who has been here till the end of the video. And yeah, consider joining our Discord server as well if you'd like to discuss this game. And yeah, I hope to see you guys in the next video. Peace out.